Hey everybody, I'm going to share a few tips of what to do when you're triggered by grief. So, grieving is something that is a universal human experience. And I want to share with you a couple things that I've learned about grief. So, like many of you, I also have experienced deep loss in my life. And there will be moments where I will be meeting with someone who's associated with the loved one that I've lost, and I'll get a wave of sadness. It could be 3, 4, 5, 6 years after the loss, it doesn't even matter. And there will be a wave of sadness and longing and missing of the person, and sort of this just sort of surprise emotion. I've learned that this is called a grief wave, and for us to try to avoid it is nearly impossible. So, one of the things I've learned to do in these situations is to sit back and notice how grief feels. It feels a little bit like sadness, and it feels like an emptiness. So for me, it's I'll feel a sensation of maybe tears welling up in my eyes. I'll also feel somewhat of a emptiness in my stomach, and I'll step back and say to myself, yes, that is grief. I recognize you. You're an old friend of mine. So one of the things I've learned to do is appreciate these moments, because at that moment I feel connected to my loved one that has departed, and I will feel a sense of appreciation for the meaning that they had in my life. And even though this might temporarily take me off my focus of whatever I'm doing in the moment, it gives me a moment to spend with the person, that soul that I have lost and that I long for. This alone has changed these experiences, and sometimes I leave feeling such a deep appreciation that I'm able to feel these emotions as a human. So this is one thing that you can maybe do if you've lost a loved one, a pet, or even something monumental like a home, or a change in your health, such as a change in your health status. Some people have lost limbs or lost organs, and they do experience grief. Is to feel these grief waves. Try not to duck them. There's an old saying that you can't duck around grief. You can't jump over it. You can't go under it. You can't go around it. You just have to go through it. And so that's my one tip today. I do think that processing grief is something that sometimes requires help with a counselor, but it is something that I think is a true human emotion that we should not ignore. Thank you for listening today.